What's up, everybody? It's Vicious and Anubis here, and we're talking about a hot button issue right now. We're talking about the hottest game of the season, Forspoken. So, there's a lot of opinions surrounding this game. I feel inspired enough to do a review on it. So, whenever I get through with it, I have enough time when I'm not studying and want to start on that. But there's some things that me and Anubis have been looking at on Twitter within the past, like, what is it? Would you say, like 48 hours? 38, 48 hours, something like that. Um,
Yeah,
where,
and I
like,
mean this stuff has been it's been in discourse for a lot longer than that, but it's really flared up with the release.
yeah. And, when the game was first announced, like, there was not, like, this type of outrage on Twitter, per se. The main thing was there were your fucking dime a dozen ridiculous ass idiot in the closet fucking racist that of course had their assumptions of how the game was going to be. I remember seeing a YouTuber say that, oh, it's black, so they're probably it's a black woman, so it's probably going to be woke. She's probably going to be gay. That annoying type of fucking person that honestly I wish would cease existing in society because they're unproductive. Honestly, they're unproductive. They're not like positive. They're basically just like regular ass KKK. It's just people that society would just be better without. Honestly, like there's no educating a person like that. But on Twitter recently, I would say within the past couple months, but like it's been flaring up within the past like 40 hours, 48 hours online with like how crazy people are and how dumb people are. And it's not just white people, it's black people too, which hurts our fucking souls. Um, if you want to take it away, Anubis, or like what you've seen more than me, I think.
It oh shit, dude. It's like I told you about. I'm not gonna name drop. I thought about it, but I'm not going to. Fuck
Mm,
that guy.
yeah.
Uh, he um went off on a tangent about black men protecting black women and that we shouldn't do it. Let me see if I can find the tweet again, and like I'll read it verbatim. But my response to that was, that's not it. My response to that was, like I get, like black men can be the main offenders to, damaging physically, mentally, and or spiritually black women, but this is not the case. you know, um,
It's the
like you were
opposite of
saying,
it's the opposite of doing that. What he's advocating against, basically, he doesn't want people to look out for black women, and I don't want to think of us, or at least myself, as like a somebody who's patronizing, which I believe, if I had the term correct, is like somebody who just like you're just being too good disingenuously to like garner some sort of favor. Like feminists, you can be a male feminist like without having a bullhorn. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to like tell everybody I'm a male feminist or have it on your fucking shirt. You just do so with your actions. You don't
it's
need,
not be an asshole,
yeah,
and that's all you got to do.
you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to be rapey. You don't have to be creepy. You don't have to do any of those things. You just, treat a woman like a fucking normal person, like you should. He basically advocates against that, and honestly, this is a digital fucking character, right? And he's talking about where we shouldn't defend black women because it's a digital character, which makes it even more absurd somehow.
Right. And again, like I was telling him, and like you said a little bit ago, as soon as this game was launched, like there is that loud ass minority, which again, like there should be no noise coming from this group at all. But mad just specifically because, like we're saying, she's a black woman from New York,
Yeah.
and I mean, now they've got this whole air quotes cringe dialogue narrative that they can hide, that they're trying to hide behind. Oh, she talks like this. It's fucking weird. I'm from the suburbs, and we want our quiet whoever the fuck back from suburbia. I those characters can be cool, but I like I've said before, I want to see niggas fighting dragons and stuff sometimes, and I mean this has been great so far for that. And she's not even like I don't even know how far along into this game I'm like 4 or 5 hours in, I think. Uh, I still haven't even gotten my second power yet, but I mean
Yeah.
I think that speaks for itself how fun this game is. But
It speaks for how long it is too. I like I think I might have been muted during the bulk of like the beginning of my stream, and I might have missed a lot of things. But one thing that I said was because when I woke up when the day before Forspoken launched, I seen that there was a full playthrough video, right, by Gamerspray, and it was 8 hours long. I'm on hour five. I just got my second power, and I spent 12 hours on the demo. So
right,
I'm like, spoiler alert for you. I'm sure you don't care that much. It's not like that crazy. But
right.
I'm at the point where we were at in the demo. So if I spent fucking 12 hours in the demo and I didn't even like do everything I could do in the in the first area that you travel to, what the fuck do you think I'm gonna do with the rest of the game? You think I'm gonna beat it in 8 hours? No. And this is the fifth hour. Like this
It's
is
impossible to beat it in 8 hours without getting, the other upgrades and shit.
well. I mean, you can beat it in 8 hours if you're playing on normal or easy. Because
Yeah, who the
less,
fuck wants to, I mean, other than casuals, who the hell wants to do that?
I think everybody is playing this game on normal. Honestly, like
Right.
I think that's the only way because people complain about how long the game is, and you were talking about that one idiot who likened it to triangle strategy and said that I think that person said that it's only 9 hours long, and it's like wow, that's interesting that the only thing you care about is the straight line. It reminds me of you ever see that Invader Zim movie on Netflix?
Oh man, I tried to watch it, but I fell asleep through it. It was
Well,
good. I couldn't make it through it.
what I was gonna say is like the tallest, which is like the leader of Zim's race, like they have their ship going in a straight line in the entire universe, and even though there's a fucking portal right in front of them that's gonna tear them limb from limb, they want to go in a straight line. I won't say if it does or doesn't, but they just want to go in a straight line. They don't want to fucking turn. Like, you know what I mean? That's the ridiculousness that I'm getting. It's like you think that this game is just a straight line to the end, and it's an open world game. But I'm sorry, I cut you off, and I like. Did you bring
Oh,
up
I'm
that tweet?
still looking for the tweet, and it looks like well, no, here it is.
I would fucking delete that shit too. This is embarrassing.
Oh, shit, I'm saying, but no, the tweet is just black men speaking on behalf of black women. Stop. And then there's a gift. It says you have to get a hobby or whatever.
You know what?
And
When he said stop, I'm thinking, okay, what's the next part? Because sometimes, like, what is it during telecommunication? It's like, what is it? You're supposed to in Morse code, you're supposed to tap a certain amount of times, and you're supposed to be like stop, and then you're supposed to go again. Like, don't fucking stop it with a
telegram.
period. Don't stop and then say period. You say stop and then you continue and say like I tricked you or something. This is fucking ridiculous. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean that was the tweet. That's all he said.
What a
And
moron.
then my initial reply was, why do you dislike this? There's nothing wrong here. We get shat on for asking for representation constantly, because they're make your own games in. So technically, we haven't done it. Some white people trying to write for black people went and did it. But I mean, I'll take it. This is nice.
It's not bad writing. You know what I mean? Like
It's not. It's really not. It's kind of dated, but it's still a lot better than what it could have been.
I think contemporarily it's acceptable and pretty good, honestly. Like if you like MCU movies, like it's fine, you know. And I wouldn't even say that MCU movies like it's weird that people think that MCU movies created these type of characters, like the type of attitude that's like jokey or whatever. Like motherfuckers really watch Avengers and they think that it's the first fucking movie that was ever like that. You know what I mean? Like there are a couple movies outside of the
Okay, you're
Avengers.
cutting out.
I'm cutting out.
Yep,
You still hear me now, though, right?
I do now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What I was saying was, there's a couple movies before the Avengers, like that had jokey fucking characteristics. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a fucking funny movie. You know what I mean? Now, of course, it's a little bit more silly, but he's definitely like a main character that fights and does a lot of like crazy shit, and he's jokey, blah 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 blah. That shit existed before any of the funny MCU stuff did, and just attributing those factors specifically to MCU is that's like an insult to cinema, if you ask me. Not that MCU is bad, like it sells millions of fucking movies. It's not my cup of tea all the time. I don't really care for MCU movies, but I did like the Avengers when I watched it, the original Avengers when I was younger, and if that continued on, it's fine. I don't understand the problem. And
Right.
not only that, but when we talk about like the banter is like pretty good. There's some actual outright liars saying that Frey and Cuff never get along, which isn't fucking true. Um, like they're getting along better like all the time as I'm playing through the game. She keeps people
It's
at
almost like they have to like deal with each other as complete strangers and then grow together forcibly, right?
yeah. It's almost as
Like I
if
don't understand. People spend too much time on Twitter and not enough time touching grass with
uh,
other people. With other people, you need to touch grass with other people. You have to build human connections. Otherwise, you're not gonna have to. You're not gonna learn how to deal with people. Okay.
Yeah, because like the shit that they think is cringy is like actually ridiculous. Like them having like a small argument. The IGN reviewer said that it sounded like a married couple having a fight at a dinner party. And on my video that I made the other day, I said a fucking dinner party. Like who says that shit? Like I've heard of cookouts. I've heard of barbecues. Maybe it's just because I'm black. I don't know. Barbecues, cookouts, dinner parties. So that's something that I always thought that rich people did. They do a dinner party. They fucking tap the glass with the spoon or the fork or whatever the fuck it is. That's a dinner party.
Making toast and shit.
Yeah, they don't sound like they're fighting at a fucking dinner party. They sound like they're you and I shit. Like we've had arguments. Like I've called you names. You've called me names. Like it's just that's how humans interact with one another. Even though Cuff is just a sentient van brace, like you know what I mean.
Right. That's funny. You're calling him. That's funny. Fan race.
Well, if you look it up, that's actually what he is. He's like a van brace.
I know, but she refuses to call him that, and then like at some point in the story, he's like, "Oh, Newark, huh?" And
Yeah.
then she's like, "Yeah, you can just call it New York, though." And he's like, "Oh, you can just call me Van Brace," and that shit still gets me.
Yeah,
But
I like that. That's good. That's a good back and forth. Like
right,
there's nothing wrong with that. There's like a campaign out now where people want to kill dialogue in video games, and it's like you can turn the voice all the way down in the settings and turn
right,
banter off.
right. Or you can just play games. Go fucking play Fallout. Read your dialogue your own self.
Yeah,
I don't know. Cheat yourself, whatever.
yeah.
Do anything other than be dumb.
Go mash your
I,
way through fucking Bloodborne or like more contemporarily maybe Sekiro and fucking Elden Ring, because God knows you don't need to fucking listen to anything in those games.
you never have.
Yeah. Like, and that's another reason why I say the industry has brain rot, because I think we let this genre of games like totally take over, and just what was Call of Duty, which was like really annoying to hear about, is now Soulsborne games, and like people like really overestimate and really fantasize like that is better than what it is. Like I made the comment, and I wasn't trying to attack Elden Ring. I was just making the comparison that reviewers never levied the same criticisms towards certain games, like Death Stranding. Like I don't know, I didn't listen to reviewers, but they never deducted as many points from Death Stranding as they would have from Forspoken, or talked about it as much. You know, when we're talking about a bland landscape.
Right.
For Death Stranding, it's like one of the most blandest landscapes I've ever played in. You know, what makes it good. I like the UI. I like the gadgets that I get. But once I ran out of steam, and I still haven't beat Death Stranding because the last thing you can get is a rocket launcher, if I'm not mistaken, and that was just it for me. I got the director's cut, and I still need to finish it. But you know, there's a lot of new stuff on there. I'm looking forward to Death Stranding too. But you know, well, I say all this to say it's a good game. So why can't you call this a good game, even though there's it's more fluid than Death Stranding? You know, on Death Stranding, when you fucking fall
More
down,
gameplay to this game. Death Stranding, it's weirdly enough to me, I understand for the other 90% of the gaming community, you know, like it's not a fun game gameplay wise because it's a fucking walking sim and sometimes you fight BTs. But
but
I
here,
mean, there's no real reason that regular gamers, I'll call them, should enjoy Death Stranding outside of the story. That could
I
have been like a fucking visual novel, and that would have been, you know, just fine.
I think that that's definitely a conversation worth having in the future too about Death Stranding. But I'll just say I disagree, and I don't really want to like push into it a lot. I'll just say I disagree just because there's shiny stuff. You know what I mean? It's like once you start getting new stuff in that game, I think that there's a amount of serotonin that kicks off in your brain. Like I wonder what else this game has. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
that's all I'll say. I'm not gonna like completely elaborate on that, but I will jump over to Elden Ring because when I said that that game had bland landscapes, like people came back with like pictures of set pieces. Like somebody took a picture of the fucking Erd tree, and I was so fucking blazing mad because I think Elden Ring is all right. You guys, like, if you listen to us on our separate channels or on this channel, you know that we pretty much gave that game like a 7 or a 7.5 at best. But I'm floating more towards 7 after playing it recently. You know what
That's
I
just
mean?
like a 6 to me. I mean, it was cool at first. You know, I loved it at first. Even that shit was like an 8 for like the first like 3 hours.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like when I got near the end, I haven't even beat that shit yet. But that shit's like a 6.
I beat it. I give it a 7. I don't hate the game. I think that it's okay. Like there's some things that they could have did better, but you know I'm not giving my review of that right now. I gave like a mini thing on my channel 7.5, 7. You know what I mean? It's not for me. I don't even think it's the best Soulsborne game. I think that belongs to Neo 2 and Bloodborne. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal opinion. If you disagree with it, that's fine. But when I'm talking about the landscapes and you're giving me a picture of the Erd tree, but like you're not actually like showing what the fuck Limgrave looks like, which is just grass. Like it's just grass, and like you see a couple of like rock formations, you know, like some cliffs, you know. And don't get me started on the stormy area. People talk about the fog in Forspoken, but it's like it's not that much fucking fog. One and two, the stormy area in Limgrave is like fucking trash. That should look like a goddamn PS3 game, and that's just Limgrave. Let me specify, it's just Limgrave that I'm talking about right now. But you know, there's some decent looking places in Elden Ring. Caelid is not one of them. If you're going to complain about the green swamp in Forspoken, I need you to look inward and tell me that Caelid's red ass, with everything being red and thorns, isn't fucking the same thing. You know,
Right.
you gotta like remember that you like a game that has the same things as a game that you fucking hate, and you can't even move as fluidly. I understand that there are two different types of games, 100%. That I'm not refuting that, but in an open world where I can move more fluidly and do better magic. Honestly, let's just be real. The magic is more interesting in Forspoken. I know everybody likes to meme the Kamehameha and Elden Ring, but other than that, there's not a lot of particularly unique things you do in that game that you didn't do in Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2,
The
3.
same game,
You,
which
you,
is why I play them, honestly.
yeah,
But I mean,
it's nice.
yeah,
It's nice, that I like doing. I like making archetypes. I'm like you. It just so happens my archetype in those games suck. I like thieves. I like knives. They all fucking suck in every single game. And short blades too. Like you have to go with the meta. People like. I'm not talking about Elden Ring right now. I'm just trying to compare Forspoken and when we talk about Final Fantasy 15 as well, which also has like the worst fucking magic in Square Enix history because you can literally harm yourself by touching it or being in the vicinity of it. Like I don't want to hear complaints about the fucking lighting. At least the game is solid with the gameplay and combat. That's something that 15 fell short on, if you ask me.
yeah.
And the story as well. You had banter. I didn't really care for the banter. I don't remember the banter. I think fucking Gladio says put them in the books or something. Put them in the books.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant.
They all had some, cringeworthy dialogue.
I just found a new recipe.
That's literally every game.
I know.
Anything in entertainment media is gonna have cringy dialogue to somebody.
Yeah, it will, and people that deny that are ridiculous because everybody's favorite game of 2020, Final Fantasy VII Remake, as we have mentioned multiple times, is got some cringe shit in it. When Barrett goes da 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 while fucking just looking dead at the fucking nothing, and not even the person he's talking to, and just says some random ass bullshit like. Come on, man. We love that game. We love Final Fantasy VII Remake. And, it has some cringe dialogue. I wouldn't say that, Forspoken has more cringe dialogue. I would say the dialogue is much better because it sounds like some shit real people would say to one another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you try saying that to people like, oh, you go fight a dragon and see how you react. And they're like, oh, I would be calm, cool, and collected because I'm fucking John Wick. And no, fucking even John Wick has cringed. Yeah, I guess I'm back. What the fuck? Like, I just,
yeah.
People make me sad.
I know.
That's all I got.
They make me sad too.
It's just
my phone sometimes, because Google, if you say anything that sounds remotely close to Google, sometimes it's gonna pop on and be like, "What?" or start talking. When that shit happens to me every so often, and when it starts talking, I think somebody's in the fucking house. Because if I'm by myself and that thing starts talking from like another room, I'm like, "What the fuck was that?"
Right.
And I think that Frey, when somebody starts fucking talking inside of her mind and she doesn't know where it's coming from, like, come on, man. Like, imagine. I don't know. Like, people.
For the very first time, too.
Yeah, people just don't have the capacity to understand nuance, or they're just being plain stupid. And we haven't even gotten to the black people portion of it. We're both black, and the shit that people say about the fucking the scene where she's being held up against her will, by the way, and
being fucking beat the fuck up and everything. They're threatening her life. Like, yo.
Sidebar, they beat her fucking ass, G.
Yo,
like when she got hit in the head, I was like, man. God damn. That shit looked like it hurt.
Get out of Frey. I was like, look, you're about to get isekai'd. It's not gonna be from a fucking truck or a bus.
Man, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Fucking clapped. But, oh man, you got knocked the fuck out, man. Oh, but that brings me to another thing.
You
Like,
gotta get out of there right now.
right. Um, that brings
People were
me.
talking about our dialogue. Nobody talks about how they were fucking dressed as like Run DMC or nothing. No, nobody's talking about that outfit.
Yeah, nobody's talking about how that character is fucking white either. Like, or they're either white or very mixed. I'll say that.
Man, I swear, is
That was the leader. And
people are so weird.
and let me say this too. They're saying that it's stereotypical, and I fucking hate this because all niggas that want a fucking a church man, I don't know what else to call it. Like, I'm coining that phrase. They want a church man. They want a fucking church man as a protagonist for like black people. You niggas are annoying. Okay. Here's let me lay it down right now. There's a lot of people like that to the point where it's boring. Luke Cage on Netflix is a fucking church man. This nigga reads. You know, he's a nice guy. He goes to work. You know, he's not fussy or anything along those lines. He's fucking 6 foot. No, he's like 8 feet fucking tall. You know, he's getting all the ass. You know, that's the nigga that you niggas want in every single fucking thing. You want a fucking church man. You want a motherfucking security guard ass black man all the fucking time, and it's annoying. Like, you want fucking Chris Tucker from Rush Hour. Like, that's what you want. But even Chris Tucker does stereotypical shit. So what the fuck are you going to fucking, like, what do you want? They want the nigga, sorry, they want Black Panther and everything, basically. They want some nigga that is like a fucking billionaire. He's Bruce Wayne, but black, and more better than Bruce Wayne because he's black, and have billions of fucking dollars. And, that's ridiculous. And what do you want from a black woman? You want her to be a queen, and you want her to be the exact same archetype of fucking individual. That's boring, man. You want representation so bad, and you want the positive side of our people. I understand that. I don't think that that's a bad thing. But when you fucking sit here and you deny that people like this exist that grew up poor and had to fucking steal and got involved with people that were in a bad crowd, you look fucking stupid, man, because that probably is you. It's probably somebody you know. It's probably somebody in your family. You know people that have stolen. You watch the movie Friday. You know crackhead Ezel. You know that that's a fucking stereotype. You know that Smokey being named Smokey and smoke weed is a fucking stereotype. But we fucking love it anyway because it represents something that we are familiar with. So how dare you fucking coons fucking sit here and tell us that this is bad because it's stereotypical. No, nigga, you're bad because you want a fucking superhero fantasy all the fucking time and you're corny. Stop fucking watching.
Man in black skin.
What'd you say, bud?
Want a white man in black skin.
Yeah, you want a white man in black skin, or you just want, you know what? I don't even want to say that entirely because there are successful black people, but you want fucking the richest black person and a motherfucker who is squeaky clean. But niggas aren't squeaky clean all the time. There are some, and there's not some. You know what I mean? And Frey just happens to be in a situation where she grew up in a fucking bad situation, and people that don't recognize that as black people, you're more fucking destructive to us than anybody else because you're just like the conservative motherfuckers that like to get rich and fucking be mad at black people for being poor and blame us for being poor. You're fucking trash. Sorry, let me drop the mic. Sorry, bro. I had to get that off my fucking chest. That's what I was feeling while I was at the store.
Because I mean, you said you wanted to do the video, and I'm sitting here playing Forspoken, and I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But I mean, obviously you took it away, you ran with it, and good job. You said everything I wanted to say and couldn't. So
Well, hey, I'm just glad that you joined me. You know what I'm saying? And we got to do this because it's ridiculous, man. Like we need to stop this as like a collective people. Black people. We need to fucking like realize that we have people that need to be represented. We have our own subgenres of people.
Right.
Niggas love to see black people in TV shows, and all the while we're fighting to get into those fucking TV shows and those fucking games and everything. There's a separate nigga that's just mad because this black person is like this or this way. And
And I was gonna say too, like that self hate goes both ways. Like like we're saying, like seeing somebody like Lamar GTA 5 fighting a dragon would be hilarious as shit. But at the same time, Black Panther is an icon. We need both of them, and there are people who, like Lamar, hate the other side of the coin. We're not saying, again, like we've said this already. We're not saying that we don't need either side of the coin or whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But just saying, if you want representation, you need to represent. You need to represent all sides of it.
Yeah, I would be, and I know that you don't like this series, but I need everybody to realize that this type of fucking person, this type of character, doesn't exist strictly because they're black. They exist because they're fucking poor and have unfortunate circumstances. So, when you look at a series like Cobra Kai, all right, and you probably know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Robbie Keane, who's the son of the protagonist of the series, which we can talk about protagonists all fucking day, evidently.
Is that fucking word again?
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Is he the protagonist, or is he like in a group of protagonists? And
Well, he's a protagonist character. I'll just say that because Cobra Kai, while it started with him and it revolves around him, I would also say that Danny is also a fucking protagonist because the whole series revolved around this nigga. So you know what I mean? He's still also a protagonist, but at least in my eyes. But or at least a deuteragonist. I don't know, man. But gosh, what was I saying before that? Oh yeah, Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane is the son of what the fuck is his name? I always forget his name until I start watching the series again. Daniel. No, not Daniel.
The racist. I don't fucking know.
What the fuck
I
is?
don't remember that dude's name.
What the fuck is Robbie Keane's dad? I don't know why I keep forgetting this. Robbie Keane's dad, Johnny, yeah. So Johnny, I'm sorry, Robbie Keane. His mom is fucking poor, man. She's a whore. She doesn't take care of him. His dad isn't in his life. This nigga steals. He scams people. He does all sorts of stuff until he like starts learning karate. But niggas will never
dialogue and all. But hey, he'll get a pass because he's white.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying, like that. But that's all I'm saying is like, we don't like realize that this is a poor thing and not just a fucking racist thing. Like, you honestly believe that a bunch of people sat around the room and in 2020 fucking won, or this game probably took 6 years to fucking come into production. You think somebody who developed this game since motherfucking 2017 or whatever sat there and was like, we're going to write a racist character and sell it to people in 2017? Are you fucking serious, bro?
Right.
Like, you really think that is the fucking move? You think Square Enix, big ass company, is the fucking move? Like, yo, Barrett was completely fine. Niggas didn't say nothing about Barrett being a fucking terrorist, or as they brand it in Final Fantasy VII Remake, like you said, my good friend, an eco-terrorist. Nobody fucking cares about that. Barrett blew some shit up, and he didn't intentionally do it on Remake. He intentionally did that shit on the original game. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't give a fuck until like this, at the end of this too, when he said, I probably shouldn't have did that. And And then there's Saz from Final Fantasy 13, who's a pretty good dude. He's a good dad and everything's taking care of his kid. Nobody wanted to fucking put the spotlight on Saz. Nigga, when that game came out, I felt like me and Anubis was the only niggas that like Saz.
You, because nobody ever talked about that dude. Ever.
No, and he had like the best blitz in the game. Honestly, if you ask me, he had the best blitz.
Man.
But yeah, and he could like put different elements on his fucking guns and shoot and shit. Like, oh, I guess it's racist that he has guns because black people use guns. You know what? It's funny about that. I would more associate white people with guns. Actually, now that I think about that. These motherfuckers taking guns everywhere. But
we've had more mass shootings this year in the U.S. than there have been days in the year. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that until you just told me.
Like fucking 37.
That's fucking insane, man.
And when's the last time you heard about gang violence? By the way,
only when white people use it as a fucking what's the word for it? As a way to fucking escape from the conversation.
Shit. Right.
But so like every time I bring it up, this is why I don't try and bring that shit up about the shootings, honestly. But yeah, so Barrett is like a terrorist.
You cut out again.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that Barrett is a terrorist or an eco-terrorist, and motherfucking Saz, technically, since he's going against the will of the government in Final Fantasy 13, is just a fucking terrorist. Like, and he's like, what does he say? That's right. He gets in his fucking car. Oh, man. He gets in that fucking car and he goes, that's right.
Oh, man.
And he started shooting the fucking officers and blowing buildings up and saving his son.
Officers, these are fucking military personnel, special ops, black ops, all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Like, we don't say shit about Saz. You understand?
Fucking Planet Hops and starts killing shit.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah, and I guess it doesn't matter because he wasn't the fucking protagonist. He wasn't the person on the case of the game. So that's why it doesn't matter that Saz did all that shit. That's the fucking lame shit that we saw on Twitter earlier. Like, are you honestly that fucking pea-brain that you think that Saz isn't a part of the main cast of the fucking game and he didn't have a good, decent chunk of story in that game? That nigga had...
Yeah, him and Barrett both had, like, the most character growth in their franchises, as far as I'm concerned. Even across, like, the second game, 13-2. Like, Saz isn't even a playable character, but he gets his son back, and he's trying to live life with his son. I couldn't tell you much more else about 13-2, if I'm being honest with you. I did not like it because Snow just fucking pisses me off, and Sarah was dry as shit, if I'm being honest. I did not care for 13-2. But Saz is cool. I bought the DLC specifically for him. But like I said, Barrett and both of them were easily the best parts of this. Well, I'll say Barrett was pretty good for 7, but Saz was easily the best part of 13 for me.
I don't know if see the way I feel about Barrett in 7 is he's one of my favorites, and honestly I don't really feel any way one way or the other towards a lot of other character stories. Like I do like Cloud more than Zach. I know you hate that, but honestly, if I could just be honest, Cloud isn't even like, I don't think he's like top 3. You know what I mean? Like Barrett's up there. I think Barrett's like number 1 for me because I enjoy watching Barrett work. Honestly, I enjoy going to the coral mines and hearing about his story. It's like the most tragic out of everybody. I would say it's. Well, no, not Vincent. I think Barrett is top 3 for me. Vincent's top 3, and possibly Sid and or Nanaki. You know what I mean? But for 13, huh?
I don't mean to like detract from Barrett's greatness and nothing. Like, they're all great characters.
Yeah.
The only reason I air quotes don't like Cloud is because he's literally Zach downloaded in Cloud's body. Like, I don't know if you've played Crisis Core yet or not. I don't.
I've watched the
But
playthrough.
yeah, it's he overwrote Cloud or Zach's memories, so he's dick riding. Which I mean, I don't think they really needed that, but it's whatever. It's been done, and I mean, 7 is still a great game, but uh,
Okay, there's a lot I want to argue with there, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna say go off, King. But
I mean, it's all right. Opinions and all that. And speaking of opinions, the whole everybody's playing Forspoken now, and the dialogue isn't as cringe as a few excerpts made it out to be. Go fucking figure. Quit listening to IGN, who I don't I don't know how they know what cringe dialogue is when they're rating Elden Ring an 8. There's
they
no
gave that
dialogue in
shit a
that
10.
game. Oh, a 10. Let's see. Well, here we go. But I just I understand, not being interested right away and being like, maybe I'll try it out later. But to play an hour of a demo from the first hour of a game, when the point of a demo is to, draw attention to issues and change them, I don't. How do you form a final opinion off of something like that? And then when devs don't give out review codes because of dumbass reviews like IGN's, why are you mad at the devs?
Okay, so the one thing I'll say, just a little pushback on that. I think because they give it out to people like IGN is a reason for them to like actually give it out to people that are a little bit more tried and true. And we've had that conversation the other day. Like I think I did for DNF Duel. I talk about this on my channel from time to time. I'm not mad at ArcSys exactly. I do feel a little sad by it, but it's like some of us do a lot of publicity and we run a lot of defense for these games, and I honestly wouldn't even be mad if it was just I had to pay for a game and get an advanced copy so I can continue doing the thing that I love, and you can still make money, and I do advertisement for basically free. I'd be paying you to advertise, honestly. But I think I could give like a more accurate depiction of like what Forspoken is like. Even Digital Foundry put their 2 cents in, which I don't like Digital Foundry's opinions on games unless it has something to do with the technical aspect of it. You can tell me anything you like about the technical aspect, but probably say about like two of the people on Digital Foundry are annoying to listen to when it comes to things like when they're going through the tech review and they're talking about how the ambient occlusion. I hate when they say that shit, but when they're talking about the this might not even be the ambient occlusion, but like the shadows where shadows meet in the fucking corner of a house and a wall, like how it's not as good looking as they think it looked in Final Fantasy 15. I'm like, I don't care, man. Does it run at 60 FPS? Do you think that it looks good? Do you think it's worthy of being on this generation of consoles? Why is it so expensive on PC? Stuff like that. I think Digital Foundry deserves it, and I think that they should give it to people that actually like put time into the game and don't just like rush and get their fucking panties in a bunch like that dude from the IGN review. How do you start a review off with the most corniest fucking like opener I've heard in fucking literally years, and then you complain
about cringe dialogue?
Yeah, like dude, you think this somebody you wrote this to, you proofread this, or somebody in your company proofread this shit, and they were like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'd like it. Yeah, good job. Like, yeah, man. Like, I don't like hypocrisy. Like, at least be serious about your shit. Be serious about your fucking craft, because you have an excellent opportunity to get your voice out there and do what you like to do, and tell people how good something is going to be before it comes out, or at least give them a good idea, and they can align themselves with your taste. But your taste is just toxic. You're not like, you have no room in your heart for anything but fucking like I don't know, FromSoft games and Cuphead or some shit. You know what I mean? Like what?
That was fucking Cuphead.
Yeah, yeah, and like a reviewer got mad at Cuphead, but like honestly, like most reviewers, I think gave that game a good fucking score. You know what I mean? Just because they had to, because people were going to be on their ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but damn, this was supposed to be at quarters. Yeah, so I don't know, bud. Did you have any closing thoughts that you wanted to throw out there?
uh, shit. Don't be racist. Play
Yeah.
for yourself. Fucking game is 8 out of 10 so far, and I'm not even like really far into the story.
Um,
I don't know.
I
And that's all I got. Just don't be dumb.
I have to concur with him like 100% of what he said. Honestly, I know this is making immersive arcade history, but 1,000%, 10,000,000% correct there. Like even the rating, I think the game's a solid 8. Like I tell you one thing, I think that this game is better than Demon Souls was at first. I think that this game, even though I think on my review for Returnal, I gave that shit like an 8.5. Returnal, if I could go back and change my score, that shit was like a 7.5, and now it's an 8 to an 8.5 because of co-op. But you know, this being a raw ass game, just being released out like this without even being patched yet, it's an 8.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. I know renting is very hard to do and like expensive or whatever, but if you can like just sub to GameFly for like a month, you'd be saving. If you don't want the game, you'd be saving so much money, and you can like actually rent the game, take GameFly off, or at least do a trial or something, but take that shit off and like then get the game when it's on sale, when it matches the amount of money you put into the rental. I don't know, that's just me talking, but that's all I have. I guess that's it. We will try and get with you guys again soon.
Yes, sir.
Peace.